What's one of the most rewarding things with the new farm?
Yeah, I would say that for sure. And we just got things wrapped up here, a couple weeks ago. So we're Wisconsin opens actually this coming Saturday. So kind of a crunch on time for now, but I've got tons of plans laid out for next spring and all sorts of stuff that I want to do. But I have done a couple things already, gone in and, just cut a couple things. And it's nice to, there's no repercussions for that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So when you were searching for a piece of ground, walk us through that. Did you have an agent? Were you shopping through all the listing syndications, or what did that look like on your end?
Yeah. So kind of probably similar around the time that I found the land podcast, a guy that I had sent out a permission letter to had forwarded that to Chad with Weiss Realty. I don't know if you've heard
That's
those
who.
guys.
Yeah, we had Jeff Sturgis on, and I know that's who.
Oh yeah, yep.
A lot of his transactions.
Yeah, and so Chad connected me with one of his guys, Alex, who kind of works in this area quite a bit. So we got on the phone and we talked a little bit, and I said, okay, here's what I can do, reasonably at this point. And he's like, okay. So we kind of just started looking, and I'm sure like everyone else, looking on Land Watch and United Country and like all the third parties to try to, just see if I could find anything. And it was hard, and especially stuff that I felt like was in my price point was going so quickly. And so that's where really, having an agent was super, super helpful.
Yeah. So were you kind of working? Well, I assume you were kind of working with him, or at least you were a bug in his ear of like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm qualified. Like, this is what I'm good for. If you find something, let me know. And then you're just looking everywhere beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of just being impatient, I guess, is really what it was. And, he was looking for me and kind of keeping me in mind on some of that stuff. And obviously being, pretty freshly graduated, my budget wasn't, and it still is not, extensive by any means. And so I was like, okay, if we can find something in this dollar amount range, like, let's do it. If not, I gotta hold off. And so a pretty narrow window there, I guess. And so I was like, well, maybe I can find something, but of course he ended up finding it for me, which was great. He's been fantastic to work with.
That's the key of having a good agent in your corner. So when you were looking to beyond price, what other things were you really honing in on that was important to you?
Yeah. So being in this area, and I haven't been here, too terribly long. I've been hunting, kind of down in this area for a few years now. But some of the stuff that I really like are like the draws and the ridges and, being in the driftless area here. So I was looking for something that had some topography in it, maybe a little bit of food. It's a really big ag area. And I do a fair amount of public land hunting as well. And one of the areas that I feel like I kind of struggle there is once the crops come down and the food becomes more of a draw again, if it's all gone around the public, you're kind of out of luck to some extent anyways. And so that was something that I was looking for too, or at least some open ground where I could get some food put in.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I think that makes sense. And then, so topography, ability to put food on the property or have food nearby. Mm-hmm. Anything else what about radius to where you live? So what was there a time parameter that you used?
So the property that I ended up getting is just about a half an hour from the house, which is kind of perfect. Yeah. There's a potential to be able to shoot out after work, and make it, for an evening hunt if the weather's right, or, like a Sunday evening hunt that's a little bit closer. I was really hoping to find something within like an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. I drive to hunt quite a bit as it is, so that didn't really deter me too much. But obviously, the closer the better. Is
this farm in close proximity to where you enjoy hunting public a lot too, or is it a little bit different?
It's a little bit different. There is some public in that general area that I spent some time on this past spring. Kind of tore some of that stuff apart and was pretty happy with what I found. So then when we were talking about this kind of general area, it's like, okay, I feel pretty confident just based on what I was seeing that there's some good deer in this area.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Cause I think especially with someone that's getting started to have, and this is nothing, I'm not recreating the wheel, and there's a lot of smarter people that have said it on the podcast, but to have some public spots nearby your farm to take the pressure off your parcel and still scratch that itch and still go down there and still learn the area, I think is a great thing to do.